It was right around late September in 2023, last fall, when I was lucky enough to have Mark and Joey from the segment take me on a ride through the Greer Ranch Trail System near Temecula, California.
Yeah!
A highlight of that day's ride was the YT Decoy that Joey lent me for a few runs.
First time climbing a mountain on an e-bike. I'm nervous!
I'd been purposefully avoiding e-bikes because I knew just how much I would want one if I actually got a taste of them.
This is insane!
I was right. This thing was the perfect bike for Greer's intense climbs, and the downhills felt smooth and comfortable. I just had to have one.
Dude, this bike is ridiculous.
I didn't want to give it back. I dropped a wad on a Decoy of my own. A Decoy29 to be exact. It arrived a few months later, and we did a bike build over at the segment's channel. I'll put a link in the description below. I swapped out a few parts from the original stock build, but here's the breakdown of the bike in its current form. Let's take a look at how this bike is put together. Frame. This fully carbon frame houses a standard removable 540 watt-hour capacity battery that lasts for several hours out on the trails. I haven't even used half the charge on longer rides of over 20 miles. It's not the lightest bike, but it's responsive, and it performs well in spite of its 48-pound or 22-kilogram weight. As an aside, I think YT has some of the coolest lines on carbon frames. I'm a nerd for these sorts of things, and this bike gets my motor going. Fork. This is the e-bike version of the Fox Float factory fork. It features the Grip 2 damper, which has more tuning capability for high-speed and low-speed compression and rebound adjustment. It also features the mostly useless Kashima coating that makes me feel like I spent way too much money. Rear shock. The Fox Float DPS factory shock may not have an external reservoir, but it works really well. It has low-speed compression and rebound adjustments, and a dual piston valve design that improves flow. And it's got that Kashima coating. Motor. The Shimano EP8 drive unit is the heart of this e-bike. It weighs in at just shy of 6 pounds or about 2.5 kilograms. It provides assistance up those long hills for hours on end. It has 3 modes: Eco, Trail, and Boost. As of the making of this video, I've had no need for the Boost mode, and I haven't even used it yet.
I might just put it in Eco mode here. I don't know if I need that much help on the hills.
I spend all my time in Eco and Trail.
Unless I go up that. Yeah, then I would need some help.
The motor engages only when pedaling. This is not a motorbike. It qualifies as a Class 1 e-bike, meaning that it only provides nominal power assist and tops out at about 20 miles per hour.
Ooh. Let's do it.
Wheels. The wheels are Crank Brothers Synthesis Alloy EMTB wheels. They feature an i9 hub, Sapim race spokes, and Crank Brothers aluminum rims with 34.4 millimeter width. Tires. We're looking at a Maxxis Minion DHF 2.5-inch EXO tire up front. The rear is a DHR2 with a 2.4 width and EXO Plus protection. Great grip, great cornering, and a great reputation on the trails make these a solid set of tires. Brakes. Just like on my other bikes, this Decoy is running SRAM Code RSC brakes with sintered pads. 200mm rotors up front and in the rear give it lots of stopping power and plenty of cooling. Seat post. This is a standard 31/6 YT Postman dropper. The 170mm drop is a little more than I'm used to, but it seems to work well on this build. Saddle. The bike ships with an SDG Bel Air 3.0 saddle, but I swapped it for my familiar WTB Silverado chromoly saddle. A standard Shimano XT Hollowtech crankset works well even though I swapped the other major components of the drivetrain. The 165mm length is shorter than I'm used to, but the power assist makes up for any discomfort. Chainring. This is a standard 36-tooth Shimano chainring, and it's pretty normal for these e-bikes. I usually run a 32, but this works incredibly well with the motor-driven climbing this bike provides. Pedals. I outfitted this beauty with a pair of Tectonic Alter pedals that were designed right here in Durango. The large platform and lightweight complement the bike's performance and keep my feet secured to the bike, even on the toughest terrain. Headset. The Acros AZX260 headset works just fine. The bearings are smooth and it works well with the rest of the bike. I didn't see a need to adjust the height of the stack. Stem. This Renthal APX 35mm stem is a gorgeous addition to the bike. It's a 50mm 6-degree rise that works well and probably won't need replacing. Bars. The Renthal Fat Bar 35mm bars that shipped with the bike were immediately swapped with my TrailOne Crockett carbon bars. I know these bars well. The 35mm rise is just what I like, and I don't have a need to trim them from their original 800mm width. Grips. The TrailOne Farlow grips are a new addition for me. I usually get their Hell's Gate grips. These grips have a great feel to them, even in wet weather. They lock onto the bars well and they feel nice on my hands. Rear derailleur. The original Shimano XT drivetrain worked fine, but I was unhappy with the way it attached to the frame. I replaced the system with a SRAM Axis GX wireless setup. The new derailleur is bulletproof, and it took a beating when I brought it out to South Mountain in Phoenix. It's still running strong. Shifter. The wireless GX shifter is a comfortable and proven design that's quick to respond and doesn't miss any shifts. SRAM Axis has consistently impressed me. I don't see a reason to put anything else on my bikes. Cassette. This SRAM 10 to 50 tooth cassette came off another bike to live out its remaining years on this bike. It still has plenty of life left in it and it shifts well. Chain. I removed the original Shimano chain and used this brand new SRAM Eagle chain for this 12-speed drivetrain. It works well on the SRAM rear and Shimano front gearing. That's the breakdown. It's a pretty straightforward build, but it's a great bike. I'm going to be riding this thing for many years. Big thanks to Joey and Mark and YT for helping get this thing going. Man, I love this ride.
First thoughts. It rides smooth. It rides real easy. It definitely makes it easier to climb the quick little sprinty uphills that they have at this park. But it's not taking all the work out of my hands. It's not riding up the hill for me, but it is assist. So I'm getting a little bit of help. But I've worked up a little bit of a sweat here. And this isn't even a particularly big park. I mean, according to my watch, I've climbed a little over 700 feet, which isn't much considering I'm starting my second major lap. The downhills are challenging. They don't feel different. The bike is definitely heavier. I have more mass under me, but it's not riding different. I'm taking chances on stuff and doing some drops that I would try on my normal enduro bike. So it really doesn't feel that different at all. Ooh, that's sketch. It's rideable though. This is steep. I've heard a lot of people say that the wheels feel more planted because the bike is heavier, and perhaps that's true, but honestly, I'm not feeling a huge difference. So it rides a lot like my standard enduro bikes. It rides really well, smooth, and it makes it possible for me to do just a bit more. So yeah, I call it a big win. Right on.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you when I see you.